Like was said, my name's Neil Bell. I'm with New South Outdoor. We are a local billboard company. We're in mostly North Alabama, Gadsden, Calhoun, Talladega, and then up into the Huntsville and even into Tennessee. I've been in the billboard business going on about 21 years now. So I've seen the transition from static billboards into the digital, the new digital billboards, and I've seen a lot of what works, and I've seen a lot of what doesn't work. And so hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that today, along with using all your options online, along with digital billboards to try to increase those conversions, or to kind of capture those leads a little better. There we go. So just to give you guys an outline, of the discussion, we're going to talk about digital billboards to begin with. What they are, how they work. I'm going to kind of move from there into more about online and all the different options there are, and of course, being social media, pay-per-click, geo fencing, all the stuff that's available out there to you. And then we're going to continue to discuss, what you can do to combine the two for greater results. Digital billboards, when I first started in the business, we were the slowest medium out there. We had to print it on a vinyl, and then if it was raining, we couldn't go post it, and so it would take 2 weeks, from when we decided this is what we want to put up there to actually getting it posted. And so now with digital, we are able to do that in real time. If you have an ad right now, I'm sure Adrian could get on his phone and post it to the board immediately. So all of our digital billboards, and we've got, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this market in Calhoun County. They're all changed by the internet. So we've got, a content manager where you can go in there and post this and tell it to run at this time and at this time. And so we can do day parting. We do different times of the day or different days of the week. So we've got a lot of more flexibility, Old static boards, you put your ad up there for the year, and you maybe changed it out next year, or maybe you changed it quarterly, but there was a cost involved with printing and putting that up there. And now we are just as fast as the internet. All the copy that can be shown on our digital billboards, we can do dynamically, and we can do to where you're just changing text or just changing photos. So, here's a few examples of some I've seen in other markets. I've got a church that would, run a scripture every day, and all they really have to do is enter in the text. They don't have to have graphic design experience or anything. They can just easily make that change. With TV stations, and we've actually had some heating and air folks do some weather stuff as well, but we can pull from the internet. If it changes on weather.com, we can pull that information into those, different spots for different days of the week and different temperatures and weather patterns, all that kind of stuff. We can do countdowns. We can do, if you a retailer and you just want to, put something up there just for today, some kind of special, some kind of a one-time price, super easy to do. We've had some good luck with realtors because we used to, with static boards, a realtor might want to put their face up there, but that was about it. And now what we're seeing is a lot of them are putting, they'll do a template, and then dynamically they will just upload the photo and the address or the price of whatever listing they have. Now, what we've seen is a lot of realtors are not selling a ton more houses this way, but they are getting a lot of listings, because I think a lot of buyers are really searching online, but the sellers see this and say, "Hey, I want to be up there. I want to promote my property to be sold." We can also do what's called trigger content or conditional content, and basically we can set certain ads to run based on anything that changes on the internet. So if it's set to rain in this zip code, we can trigger an ad to run. So basically to be a lot more timely with your messaging, right? To be like, it's raining. Are you saving for a rainy day, for the bank? Or, come get your windshield wipers changed at the dealership. Or, it doesn't even have to be weather. It can be pollen count. It can be, the stock market changing. It can be, just about anything that changes on the internet can trigger these ads. So we're a lot more timely in our messaging. Here's some more that I found. So, newspapers, gas stations running up to the minute gas prices. Right now, I know what everybody's seen in the last couple months. It seems like it's, more this than this, I guess. But, we can link that to whatever, software is being used on site. Another thing we can do with a digital billboard, instead of, having to run that one piece throughout the day, we can run different pieces. And this is another thing that we see a lot of advertisers. Well, I want this on there. Tell them we do this. Tell them we do that. I want my phone number, I want my website, I want my address. And we say, no. Digital billboard, we can run multiple messages through the day. So that's what we try to push, is like, if you've got this product or this service, but also this, we can highlight different ones throughout the day. One thing about digital billboards is we run, a rotation on there. So you're not, when you advertise on a digital billboard, you're not up there 24 hours a day like you would be on a static board. However, what we've seen and what a lot of the research is showing is that although your ad's not necessarily being seen as often, people are remembering a lot more. Like it commands a little more attention. The recall rate's higher. So like I say, we run 8 advertisers on all of our boards in a continual loop. So they're up there for 8 seconds and then they change. It just does that all day. Typically putting them at very high traffic locations, higher demand locations. Try to put them at traffic lights if we can, where we've got some dwell time there. And like I say, the recall rate on digital billboards is much higher than the static. People tend to recall the messages that they see. And I mean, I'm in the business, but I mean, even if it's an on-premise sign, with a, for a retailer, I want to see what's coming next. I should be paying attention sometimes, but occasionally I'll, give it too much attention. CPMs for digital billboards, and CPM being cost per thousand. We try to look at all media under the lens of, cost per thousand. How many people are you reaching for $1 or for $1,000? Or reverse, how many thousands of people for every dollar? And so billboards typically run anywhere from $1.50 to $6 or $7 in a cost per thousand, whereas TV is going to be 10 to who knows what. The Super Bowl, I don't even know where that plays into. And so we do have a good low cost per thousand in what we do. We've got, some of our locations, 25,000 people drive by a day, here in this market. So billboards become something that's very efficient in a media mix. We are still a mass medium, whereas your online stuff is a one-to-one. We're more of a one-to-many. We are truly a mass media. We hit every kinds of demographics, depending on who's in the cars, right? It's not necessarily about the specific audience as it is location. The downside, obviously, messages have to be brief. We don't have a lot of time to really explain. We just have the time to, pique interest, and that's why, this topic of putting billboards with online is very important, because the billboards are what you can use to push to that other medium that gives you more time to explain, gives you more time to sell, gives you more options for people to research. And so 7 words or less is essentially the rule that we try to follow. A lot of times we struggle with advertisers that want to put a lot on there, but what we found is the more you put on there, the less it's going to work. Okay, from here we'll talk about a little bit about online marketing. There's so many types. There's so many ways to spend money online. You know, doing stuff online takes a little more effort, I feel, in terms of really monitoring it. And you can't just, there's a lot of things you can set and forget, but some of them you kind of got to check to see if it's working, if you're getting the clicks, if you're, so it takes a little more energy and effort to manage it and to at least to get good results. It's not like something you can just post and be done. Obviously there's social media, which is free, but there's also social media sponsored posts. I don't know when this was, I guess 8-9 years ago, Facebook kind of began making it difficult for business posts to show up in people's feeds. They wanted to push you to start to spend money. So, just posting on your social media as a business is not going to necessarily get you in front of the audience. Thing with social media posts, though, that's great, is that you can really get granular and kind of drill down on specific targets that you have. If you want to reach, soccer moms, 28 to 45 who live in this city, who also like this, well, we can reach them. So you can get a lot more targeted now that, like we talked about, the cost per thousand is going to be a lot higher, but like I say, your target can get a lot more drilled in. Banner ads, we've all seen these, on different websites that we're on. One thing I will say, there's a lot of software, and in fact, the browser that I use, it's called Brave. It eliminates all banner ads, so I never see banner ads. And so that is kind of an issue that the online industry is kind of dealing with right now, is all these ad blockers and different things that are keeping people from having to look at them. Geo fencing is one option that I really like, especially with billboards, because it's a lot more location based, just like billboards are. And basically what you can do is you can say, here's the area of the people I want to reach. And so you can circle a zip code or a neighborhood, or you can get to your competitors. You can get to wherever you think your target audience is. And if anybody goes within that fence, their cell phone will then be sent ads, whatever you're looking to push. Now, a lot of these ads might show up in free apps. Like, I know I've got a radar weather app that I use that was free, and on the bottom you'll see the little banner ad. So if someone has been inside that fence, the cell phone, the free app, lets them know, and then they start feeding ads. Obviously, the website is a great use of your online spend, just your own website. This is the place where you can do your selling. I mean, it's not something that is necessarily going to draw people in, but it is the place where when they get there, they can research, they can read, they can buy, they can set appointments, whatever it is. You want to make sure that website is in good order. I mean, I can't stress that's, anybody who doesn't have a website, that's probably the best use of some of your online spend that you're going to do. Before you get spending on all this other stuff, online websites are the way to go. There's another option. There's Adwords and Search. You can pay to, these ads up in the front on the top. You've all seen them. They're kind of in bold, and they might even say ad right there. That, when somebody searches a certain term, you can buy that term and show up, on the ads. The other, I don't think I covered in here. No, I don't. Is SEO. That's another thing you can spend your money on. That is, I would say, is probably a very good use of your online money, to be searchable, to be found easy, just all sorts of keywords that are built kind of into your site that help you show up when people are searching for whatever product or service that you have. But AdWords, the thing about AdWords, I know a lot of people skip those top ads, but they still work. obviously Google wouldn't be making all the money that they are. And there's tons of other options out there in terms of online marketing, but and advertising. But I'm going to move on to a little bit more of the combination of billboards with this online stuff. So first and foremost, the web is essentially the bottom of the marketing funnel. And that is where a lot of people, where conversions happen, where people find your phone number or fill out a form or, actually purchase something depending on, what you're selling, what service you have. So all the stuff on the top would be your regular advertising, radio, TV, print, billboards, all that. And it's all trying to lead them to that place where you can try to convert. Now, this used to be the phone book, I can't tell you how many times when I first started in my career, we'd run an ad campaign and then I'd come to talk to the customer and they'd say, I don't know how well it worked, because I'd ask everybody where they heard from. They said the phone book. Like, yeah, well, you're also doing radio and TV, and nobody said any of that either. So what that tells me is that it's kind of, we got them all interested. And then when they were ready, they opened the book, found your phone number or your ad. And so it's the same thing with the internet today. People say, well, I get all these leads from the internet. Well, what is your other media? Your other media is pushing them there, hopefully. And now the internet, your website is the very last place before they buy. So it's where you should, spend money to make sure that you capture those leads, however that is. Big thing, like I say, is have a great website if you can spend your money on that. One thing about online advertising, I will say, is that mobile right now that's where so much of it is. I mean, over the years, it's just every year I read, it's like more searches are done on the phone, and how many sales. I mean, I don't think I've ever been on. I can't remember being on Amazon's actual desktop site. It's always on my phone, and shoot, my wife, I mean, she's always buying stuff on the phone. I mean, I don't think she doesn't. She has a computer, but she's rarely on it. So, search and purchases are being done on the phone. Another thing, this statistic is very interesting. About 76% of people who actually search for something locally end up going there. And I think about that in my life and how, how many times have I searched a restaurant or for restaurants in an area and then ended up, going to one of the ones that I clicked on. So, so I would never discount mobile these days. Now with, obviously with internet advertising, the costs cost per thousand especially can be much higher. A lot of these banner ads and such have a pay-per-click system. A lot of times it's bidding. You got to bid for certain keywords, so that can go up or down depending on whatever that is. I'll give you an example. You've all seen Alexander Shannara. He's a big billboard advertiser, and he spends, I don't even know how much he spends on billboards in the state of Alabama. But one problem he has is that all the other attorneys are bidding on his name for keyword search. So he's got, the funnel, and it gets down to the part where you capture the lead, and they're swiping some of his leads from him because they're buying his name, to try to show up for that, Google AdWords right there. So he's got some leakage when it comes to losing leads that way, which is crummy. But, for most businesses, you're probably not going to see too much of that. Costs, web development can get expensive, depends on where you do it and who you have, if you're keeping it up to date, if you're making changes on a regular basis. Here's one of the pages from our site, and like I say, it should be your place where you can explain your product a little better, have some selling points. We have billboards that say all about advertising on billboards, but that doesn't tell you all that a billboard can do. It doesn't tell you, all the options that we have. And so you want to push them to the website read more and make informed buying decisions. You know, online advertising, this is something that billboards we struggle with, is having some real attribution numbers to say we know X amount of people, these people drove by and then they came in and bought. We're getting better at it because mobile data we're starting to be able to subscribe to some stuff to be able to say we know where people are driving from, we know they're going afterwards after passing the sign. But there's no, like, you know, the internet with online ads, we know this person clicked this button, took them to this, and they bought. Like, we know it. So, you know, attribution is a great thing with online ads that billboards don't really have. And it's, you know, like I say, here you can calculate better the real value of it. You know what your cost per lead is, or you know what your cost per sale is on spending money online. Obviously, online stuff, just like digital billboards, very flexible. You can change it up. And in fact, folks that do campaigns that are successful often monitor it very closely. You know, they'll do A/B testing. Well, let's put this ad with this guy, this picture of this guy, and an ad, you know, with this guy, and run this half the time, and then whichever one works better, we'll start running that one more. And so they do some testing. So it, like I said earlier, it can get a little more intensive in terms of managing it. Obviously, it's not like a billboard. It's one-to-one. It's the person with the phone or on the desktop. So you're getting, you know, that much more targeted than a billboard. But with billboards and online, you know, the customers we've seen that really have a good web presence, maybe spend some decent money online, but then push, you know, the traveling public to that. They're the ones seeing, you know, it's greater than the sum of their parts, the results that they end up getting. Billboards, you know, people have to drive by these things multiple times to really, you know, I mean, I think about it too. It's like, how many times do I see certain ads that don't really matter to me until I need whatever it is they're selling, you know, like flooring. You know, I've got some tile that I need done, and I drive by stuff, and then now that my wife says, hey, we need to retile this, I see it and I remember it, you know. So sometimes it's, you know, you're not going to see it immediately and do something about it. Another thing, digital outdoor, what I've heard from customers is that it can kind of legitimize the web ads. So, you know, if you've seen a billboard a few times and then you get served, like with the Geo Fence component, say you add that, and you see it on the phone, it's a little more legitimate, right? It's okay, this is a legitimate local company. And so the click-through rates usually go up when we see people doing or digital billboards with online. One thing we push a lot of our customers, like I said, they want to put their phone number, they want to put their address, and you know, I get that you want people to be able to find you, but really, people are driving in the car. A simple, you know, across from McDonald's or whatever is great, but always have the website, and I would say make that as prominent as you can, because people can remember the web address, search it later. They don't necessarily have time to write down a phone number or memorize a phone number. And I say that unless you got a vanity, you know, 1-800 or, you know, 411 pain. I don't know if you've ever seen those. I am a big proponent for using geofence advertising with digital outdoor, just because there's, you know, so much about where people are and where they're shopping and where they live that, you know, kind of goes hand in hand with billboards. One thing we've seen some people do is they will geofence their competitor. You know, they will geofence their business. They'll geofence a zip code or a neighborhood, but they'll also geofence our billboard that they're running on, so that, you know, people drive by that billboard every day and see it. But then after they've seen it, they're going home and they're on their phone and they see it there. Let's see here. So once they've passed that fence, they're then served ads. And click-through rates on online ads are pitifully low. I don't know if you've ever read any about that. They're pitifully low, but adding a digital billboard can give you a good bump on that. And so that's, you're spending money here, but you're getting so much better of a click-through rate, so that the result is actually much better. Pushing people to Facebook and Instagram. I mean, that's cheap and easy, right? I mean, that's, your Facebook page, just like your website, it's got all this information about your business, and really in a more up to date, because it's like what you got going on this week, or what you got, you've got this weekend sale, or you've got, a customer appreciation day, or whatever. And once you get, you want to get them on the Facebook, like it, so that maybe they'll start checking you out there. Let's see. Now, there was a recent Nielsen study that kind of went and looked at digital billboards along with online, and what they found was, especially with social media, there was a huge lift from billboards, much greater than any other media, especially per dollar spent. So this is kind of some of their findings, is that when digital billboards were pushing for search, or for go into the Facebook or Twitter or Instagram pages, billboards did such a better job. Here's another thing we've seen is give them a reason to go to your Facebook page. Start some kind of exclusive offers, discounts, or some kind of shortcut. Even things that just make things easier, people will spend their time on. And then like this, I haven't seen people take advantage of this as much, but if you've got your web work, your website and your SEO and everything in order, to ask for the search, search us. If a lot of companies, rely, especially restaurants and some service industries, rely a lot on those Google reviews, right? So if you've got good Google reviews, you've got good SEO on the digital billboard, tell them to search you. That'll give you some legitimacy too, of those Google reviews. I think that's all I got for now. I wanted to talk a little bit about about what everybody is doing, and are they pairing these two things together, or are they do much online?